Out here eating a Big Mac combo. Got the sweet and sour with the hot mustard and barbecue sauce. I got some Bai coconut juice with a sweet tea in front of. I don't feel like I'm disrespecting the grounds, but they got a lot of people on these grounds, like some Hollywood type shit. I don't know who they are, but they're veterans, I believe. Right there, it says designed by Francis Seward Josephson, veteran World War II, dedicated by Mr. Lonnie Sheely, veteran World War I, November 11, 1995. All right, so this is a memoriam. That's my old job over there. I don't know if you can see it on actually Checkers, but I'm working at Walmart on North Main Street, and I really want to start exercising and tying my body up, but that's what I've been discussing in most of these videos. I'm like, my biophysical nature. People made a big deal about it. I understand when human beings are born, there's a certain level of intellectual capacity that you want to display. I mean, the first step is to talk. You know, you make noises. A lot of babies they slob out their mouth. It's a sign of life. So with all that being said, a lot of people in my life are immature and illiterate to me, but it's a difference because that means that there's a negative connotation on my mind about a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I started feeling negative, I think, when people started judging me. You know what I'm saying? After I experienced growing up in some apartments and a boy had sex with me, it's like they made a big deal about it because I made my first connection with a male besides, I guess, knowing who my dad was. But it just really kind of happened, and there's nothing I can do about it. And it's like my mind is very deep. So when I see men and women interact, I really feel like I'm actually mocking people. You know what I'm saying? And it's just part of being alive. You know, I have schizophrenia because of people just thinking too hard about people and the way that they look. You know what I'm saying? It comes with being a thinking person. That's why people encourage you to read and work out. So, I mean, eventually I'll start back working out more so I can try to get my mind off these things. There's really no pill to cure, the way that you feel. Is really more of a step that you take to, analyze situations and get your mind off of it. That's what centering yourself is about. And actually, like I've said, the logic that I have is that there's a white and a black way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like me being a black person, I feel like I shouldn't act white or, excuse me, or sound a certain way. I'm like, when you think about dialects and accents, you know what I'm saying? It's really not that important, but it really is because, there is a judgmental state. And that's why, people will have advantages and disadvantages. And being a woman is so toxic for me because I'm like, I be trying to act like a ghetto nigga because to be honest, I grew up within the realms of people with that type of mindset. Like you would think that, okay, in this apartments, they're like this. They really thought that, well, this is a ghetto state of mind that we have, or we're trying to appreciate this and we're trying to appreciate that. Just like, I feel as though like, one of my little sisters, I don't know who bought some rugs from my apartment that I'm staying in with my little sisters. And I'm like, I don't like it because it reminds me of my grandmother. And I mean, when I watch my videos, I mock her to a T because I'm thinking about her a lot because she was a grandmother and she was a, woman that actually had, a womanhood. So, me thinking about all these people, I was living with some random girl named Jasmine. I really do just think too hard about people and become them. So I think it's part of being an empath. It's part of having a brain. It's part of, the human way. That's why I told somebody not the other day, but at random, that all the people in my life are ringing in my head. I've been to churches, people singing hymns, all that shit is toxic as hell. But as you can see, I still enjoy a classic Big Mac sandwich. I love Big Macs. That is the reason why I actually like McDonald's restaurant and I support the business, aspect of it, the structure of a business, the consumer, the product, you know, There are still people that grow products. There are people that study this. We're all natural biologists. At some point, you're going to, have to, put your best foot forward and actually build your own life. You know what I'm saying? This is the earth, and you can chop wood, you can build you a place, and you can guard it and call it your own. That's what I want. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto, and I'm like, if I could get one of those houses sitting on a hill, I wouldn't mind. I would have to study. I mean, study to show yourself approved. I've been taught a bit into pessimism, so I'm like, it really is just a mind game, thinking about air pollution, population, um, air pressure, all of that. When you study it, it really is a mind game, but a lot of that stuff is factual information, and you as a human being have to walk around and just prove it to yourself. So I mean, it's the same song. I always ask people at random, I'm like, the more information you know, the more you grow. That's what I learned in school. There may be an excerpt from an author of a book that may know where some old wiring is, and you won't fuck some shit up on some land because somebody actually studies it. You know what I'm saying? It's real simple. I'm like, I have a lot of body fat, and I'm like, the fact that I view myself as a female identity and I have a shape, I'm rejected with that because of the male identity, and I feel like that has a lot to do with the reason why I'm being rejected, because an intellectual person will not just go out based off what they see or what they heard. They will actually rationalize the situation, and there's people that really think that they're thoroughbreds, and there's a one set mind that some people have, and they really think they have a thug mentality, but in reality, we really just be out here running game. Like, I was listening to YG. It's two YG rappers that I know. There's a light-skinned, baby-faced looking motherfucker that look like he Indonesian, or I don't know what the fuck he is. He could be Filipino. I don't goddamn know. And then there's a brown-skinned version, black man, that look like he probably speak Creole from New Orleans or some shit. And I'm like, both of them got two different vibes. I have a very analytical mindset, and I'm like, I really support that one more because I'm like, it's raw. When I listen to music, I'm like, I listen to people's tone of voice, I'm like, it really sounds right to me. A lot of these men out here think they steppers and shit. It's a lot of, I always encourage, when I go anywhere, I encourage a man to make a video like he's sitting in the trap, because it really is a mind state, for us as people that are supposed to be from a ghetto to ourselves, or a poverty-stricken mindset, or a poverty-stricken place. It really is a mindset, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody doesn't have a bad experience in low-income housing projects. Some people really do, you might commit a little crime every now and then, but you chilling with your boo thing or whatever you're doing and having fun. Everybody does not have a bad experience living in a ghetto. Now, me, the reason why I did not conform to my role as a woman is because I seen the way that you could be treated. I'm working at a fast food restaurant, and I know that there are people that can be like, well, she's some Aunt Jemima black lady that's working at fast food, and that's how they'll look at you. And I'm like, I sprouted breasts out and everything, and I'm like, I could have stayed a thin person, and if I could have avoided eating cattle and all of that to try not to make it seem as though, but when I look at my little sisters and stuff, I'm like, their bodies, we really ate meat, and those men were really a predictable paradigm to me. Like, I can tell, like, my uncle, he's a very thin man, but I'm pretty sure he's quick because of that. And you know what I'm saying? He eats, but he walks everywhere. And I'm like, I'm one of those. My disadvantage with being within the realms of our family is they were encouraging me to be this thick Southern belle, and I'm like, that's really not what I want. I really would have to stop eating cattle and drink probably more milkshakes, or you're still eating it in a certain way, but depending on the texture of the food, what I'm saying, if I sweat all my body fat off, I won't look as I won't give off that appeal as much. People will think I'm a vegan, but I'm like, there's still a stigma, a negative connotation that comes with womanhood. There's people, I'm like, I hate the fact that I contributed to it, because, the male identity is the reason why I was viewed in this aspect. People were able to form paradigms against me and be like, well, she's loud and she's boisterous and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, what happened was I experienced the emotion of anger after a male had sex with me. And I'm like, now I'm being viewed as a feisty woman instead of a girl that had a male have sex with them. And I'm like, being that when I watch movies and stuff, and I'm like, damn, some of these women are really, there really is a negative stigma on a woman that grow up in low income housing, apartments or whatever. And there are people that really have different, ways, outlooks. I grew up in some apartments called Howell Place. Then, off Godby Road, I used to have a so-called Uncle Peanut or whatever living in those apartments, and a lot of times it just looked like the ghetto. They throwing trash on the floor. You appreciate trash. Everything gets recycled, blah, blah, blah. There's a hood mentality. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do about it. I always told myself, I live in Georgia. My dream place to move to is California, right? So when I move to California, I don't care how I'm living. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to be like running around and jumping up and down. It's like a lot of people that I know that claim to be in on that land in California claim that there's a ghetto mind state there, and I'm like, I hate when people really ruin the reputation of certain areas, because it really is a mindset. Everybody is not conformed to that paradigm. Some people be like, well, I'm from Atlanta, but I don't really live a ghetto lifestyle. But it really is a negative connotation on your mind. Some people want to keep you trapped in the confines of them. Like, my reality for being a female is the reason why I'm being held back from so much. I'm like, I really don't want to be female. I really want to be a male that rides around and do the same thing that men do, but I can't. So, there's people, like when I was a kid, somebody would be like, I took your virginity, I gave you a heterosexual identity. And I'm like, the fact that he will argue about that shows that his mental capacity was stuck on. He was very proud of that, being in that small-minded situation. But I'm like, I'm not calling him an unintelligent person. I'm just saying it wasn't really up for discussion. But being that we have, I told people I listen to a lot of music, and half the music that I listen to is not really promoted in social media like that, like Fox a Million. I'll promote these people and be like, well, if you listen to him, you'll realize that he really is just a male, just living, and he come from a certain dynamic. I grew up, I'm country, I killed cats.